Again, we live, baby. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back to chemistry class, you guys. Glad to have your ass back in chemistry class. I am Professor Health, your friendly neighborhood healer, and not your average dope dealer. And today we're going to be talking about some legal dope that's out here in the streets. And today's topic, that dope is alcohol. So for the month of for the month of April, we're going to talk about alcohol awareness and some other great topics. But today we're going to focus on alcohol and touching bases on what we said on Monday on Mad Scientist Monday. So let me tell people on IG that I'm live so we can have some bodies in chemistry class today because I'm giving out gold stars to everybody that's here and that participates. So let me go ahead and tell people I am live. Give me a second. I don't know. I might just go ahead and just do it on live too. People tend to go on the live, IG live, but they don't come on YouTube. I don't know what's up with that. Let me invite some people. Give me a sec. And I pushed it back an hour for you guys. So it should be a lot of people coming in here today getting this good old education. But nonetheless, if no one's here live in class, they can always do a playback. So today we're going to talk about alcohol awareness. So I'm going to share my slides and I want you guys to pay attention. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask them, drop them in the chat box. I will get to them as soon as I finish the presentation because I cannot simultaneously look at your comments and give the presentation at the same time. So please feel free to ask me questions all throughout the presentation. I'm not going to keep you guys long today. This is going to be a short chemistry class. However, I'm going to drop these gems. So let's stop playing. All right, chemistry class, alcohol awareness. I'm sorry, it's in the live over here. All right, alcohol awareness. Alcohol dehydrates the body. So alcohol, we all know what alcohol is, right? That poison that they sell us in the liquor stores. That's on every corner in the hood, okay? It also is a diuretic, what does that mean? It causes urination and inhibits water reabsorption. So if you're ever drinking alcohol and you realize you may get a little bit more pissy than before, or you got to constantly go to the bathroom, that's a diuretic. It's going to make sure it's empty in that bladder, right? But while you're drinking alcohol, it's going to be able to inhibit water reabsorption. So you're going to basically say you're going to be in a constant state of dehydration. And I'm going to explain why later on in the chemistry class. Alcohol also increases blood pressure. We talked about this previously. We talked about high blood pressure. We also talked about low blood pressure. But keeping that balance between fluids and keeping that balance between pressure, we know that alcohol is going to disrupt that process. It's going to disrupt that feedback loop. Also, it lowers blood glucose. How does it do that? Because when you're drinking alcohol, insulin is going to be secreted. So that's going to help lower the blood glucose. So if you are diabetic and you do drink alcohol, you may go and you may take a reading and you may see that your blood glucose is low. Now, however, it can be alarming and it can also be alarming because if you typically have high blood glucose and you're going to drink alcohol, you may get excited like, oh, I got low blood glucose, so I can start to intake some more. That's not actually the case. It's just a feedback loop of what's happening, that you're having more insulin secretion, so it's going to lower your blood glucose at the time because you're drinking alcohol. That's not to be confused with just without drinking alcohol. But I digress. Alcohol also impairs your judgment. We know that for anyone who's drunk alcohol before. I am myself. Drinking alcohol, it impairs your judgment, it impairs your cognition. People always say, you lose your inhibitions. The things you're going to do some things you probably wouldn't do if you wasn't on that bottle, right? Happens to everyone. You live and you learn. However, today we're going to learn some more. It's also a reproductive hazard. If you ever look on the back of the bottle and you're reading about what the Surgeon General says and about women who are pregnant or nursing shouldn't be drinking alcohol, anything like that. Why? It's a reproductive hazard. So a no-no Well, I mean, Professor Health is just here to tell you, give you information. You do what you will with the information. So I'm not gonna say it's a no for a woman. She's pregnant, a nurse, and she's drinking. That's on you. But I'm gonna give you the information regardless. Absorption. So what happens when you're drinking alcohol? How is it used in the body? How is it absorbed? So you drink it, obviously, or no, there's other ways that it can be absorbed. There's things called butt chugging and things like that, but that is for a different type of a chemistry class. We're not talking about that today. So we're actually talking about actually drinking it. So once you drink it, it goes to the stomach, which also that interferes with your gut bacteria, so it can cause some issues with stomach issues. It goes to the small intestine and into the bloodstream. Now, alcohol can be absorbed into the bloodstream within minutes. So this is why you can see people who drink and get drunk really, really fast. It's going straight to their bloodstream. And there's other reasons as well. If you're drinking alcohol on an empty stomach with no food to absorb the liquor, one can get drunk quicker than one drinking on a full stomach. If you're a drinker, you've been around drinkers, you've always heard people say, "Don't drink on an empty stomach. Put something on your stomach." Why do you want to put something on your stomach? Because the liquor will have something to absorb. So it will kind of like saturate itself so that it'll take your body a longer time before you start to feel the effects of the alcohol. So it's going to take a longer time to get into your bloodstream. Now, on Monday, Mad Scientist Monday, I jumped out there and I said that alcohol is one of many people's poisons, which is a fact. No judgment, as of course, but let's educate ourselves on it. Now, alcohol is a diuretic. I just said that earlier, and I told you what a diuretic was, and it removes fluid from the body. So basically, like I said, it's going to have you being pissy. Some more so than others. And dark liquors like whiskey and brandy dehydrate the body more. So now that's the interesting thing. We want to know, for the people out there, the drinkers in the world that's listening to this or going to play back, you want to know, what are you drinking? If you're drinking it, is it going to make you pissy? Or what you drinking, what type of effect is it going to have on your body? We're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about why alcohol dehydrates the body, because on Mad Scientist Monday, I said that alcohol hydrates the body. Everyone knew that that was false. I hope you knew that that was false. If you didn't know that that was false, let me tell you why it's false. So dehydration. So alcohol suppresses a hormone in your body, antidiuretic hormone in your body called vasopressin, and it increases urination. So vasopressin basically is an antidiuretic hormone, right? Actually, it does increase urination. That shouldn't be like that. But it's an antidiuretic hormone, right? So basically, if you're feeling like when you're drinking alcohol that you have to constantly go to the bathroom, you constantly have to urinate, it's because that this vasopressin, this antidiuretic hormone, basically is being suppressed and reduced. So it's not activating like it typically normally would in your body. So you're gonna over pee, or your bladder is going to be overactivated, so it makes you feel like you always have a pee, or you peeing more. You're pissy. So vasopressin helps regulate sodium concentration as well. So in your normal state, when the body is not drinking alcohol, you have this hormone, right? That's regulating sodium concentration. It's helping with the fluid balance. What your kidneys is flushing out and all that is regulating fluid balance. Now, when this is suppressed, it's not regulating sodium concentration like it normally would. So the body is going to have higher concentrations of sodium. So when this antidiuretic is reduced, the concentration of electrolytes such as sodium, which we're going to talk about today for the most part, or potassium, etc., increase in sodium content in cells. So let me say this once more time, because I definitely see that this is a misprint. So the alcohol suppresses the antidiuretic hormone, right? And when you're drinking alcohol, that is when you get increased urination, because vasopressin, the antidiuretic hormone, is going to be suppressed or reduced. So this right here is a diagram courtesy of divescotty.com. So what I want to show y'all is basically what's happening to your cell. So we're gonna focus on number one, which is going to be like a cell. Number two, which is going to be like a cell. The blue circles you'll see will represent water, and the orange circles you'll see will represent salt water, like let's say salt molecules. So this is going to happen by osmosis. Really don't need to know what osmosis means. You just really need to know what's happening in your body when you're drinking alcohol. How does your cell get dehydrated? So number one, so you have salt water being number one. Number two, you'll have as fresh water, right? So you'll see that these two are at equal concentrations. For the most part, there's more from salt water. You're going to see more salt molecules over here than you're going to see in the fresh water. You may see a little bit of orange bubbles. But on number two side in the fresh water, you're going to see a lot more H2O water molecules than you would in number one. So when they're separated by a semi-permeable membrane, right? And that's where things will transfer and transport through this membrane, right? So on the salt water side, if you go to the diagram 2, you'll start to see that the water, the fresh water, is diverging or moving towards number one, the salt. This is what's happening in your body. So the actual fluid inside of your cell, the water inside of your cell, is always going to go to the highest concentration of where electrolytes or where the solutes are. In this particular diagram, we're talking about sodium. So the water on side 2 is leaving the cell, it's going into the salt water, right? So why? Because water likes to go to the highest concentration where sodium is, electrolytes or solutes are. So the salt, so this is basically a diagram of the water moving outside of your cell, inside of your cell to the outside of your cell, wherever that high concentration is, right? And so when you're drinking, the cell is now going to be, water is leaving it and it's going to the extracellular fluid, which is outside of your cell, which is going to go to your bloodstream. So this is how actually your body gets dehydrated, and this is how you're going to get drunk. So takeaway message is that salt or sodium or electrolytes or solutes are going to move to the highest concentration. Water is going to move to the highest concentration where those electrolytes or solutes are. So as you see in 1 was salt water, 2 was regular water. Where did the water move? It transported to number 1, where the salt was at. So that's exactly what's happening in your body. So that's how dehydration occurs. Let's talk a little bit more about alcohol, because I know that's what you guys really want to talk about. So less hydrating alcohols. You have undistilled liquors, which have lower alcohol beverage or ABV or alcohol beverage content. And these are your fermented liquors. Fermented, what does that mean? Well, it means that you use bacteria and yeast to convert sugar to alcohol. And this is how people would make alcohol back in the day. This is how people make alcohol in jail, right? This is how you do it. You use bacteria yeast to convert a sugar to alcohol, because sugar can convert to alcohol, but it just needs something to help or assist it, which will be the bacteria or the yeast. Now, some less dehydrating alcohols. Now, just because alcohol is a fluid, we know that alcohol is a fluid, correct? So just because it's a fluid doesn't mean that if you drink it, that it's actually going to hydrate you. It's actually the opposite, and we just discussed why. So a couple of examples of less dehydrating alcohols would be beer. Beer is at like a 3 to 7% alcohol content. Wine, hard cider, mead, I don't even know what that is. Sake, I used to drink that. That's bomb. That's at a 16% alcohol beverage content. Please don't think that I'm telling you guys to go out there and drink. I'm not telling you guys to go out there and drink, but if you do, I'm going to educate you. So the lower the alcohol beverage volume or the alcohol content, is going to be less of a diuretic. So it's going to, so if you're drinking any of these undistilled liquors like beer, wine, hard cider, whatever, you may tend to see yourself that you don't go to the bathroom as much as you would if you were drinking something a little bit harder. So the takeaway message is that the lower the alcohol beverage volume is less of a diuretic. So these are examples of less dehydrating alcohols or undistilled liquors. Now, the most dehydrating alcohols that you can drink or that's on the market, they are called distilled liquors. Those are liquors and or spirits. They have a higher alcohol beverage volume or content. So after the fermentation occurs for the undistilled liquors, there's another process that happens, which is now called distillation. That's how you get distilled liquors. That's the contrasting difference between the two. Now, distillation is going to increase your alcohol content. And basically, what distillation is going to separate water and fermented substances from the alcohol. So it's basically a separation type of thing. So some examples of the most dehydrating alcohols we have is gin. And look at these percentages. I want y'all to make sure you're looking at the percentages because they are very, very high. So gin, brandy, you get cognac from brandy. So if you don't see cognac on the list, that's because cognac is a brandy. Whiskey, how do I know that? Because I used to be a cognac girl. Whiskey, rum, tequila, vodka, absinthe. I've had that before. That tastes like pure, like, oh my God. Like, if you, that probably get you where you're going. If you're looking for a destination, just get tore up. Everclear. Everclear, I wouldn't recommend anyone drink that straight up. I'm just being straight up. So the higher the alcohol beverage volume or content, the more the liquor is going to be a diuretic. So that means that if you're drinking these kinds of liquors, these kinds of distilled liquors, you may see yourself going to the bathroom more than drinking beer or wine or hard cider. Okay? Oh, yes, and this photo is courtesy of, because I don't want no problems, I don't want no copyright problems. This photo is courtesy of alcoholrehabguide.org. So the takeaway message from this slide is that distilled liquors, which are liquors or spirits, have a higher alcohol content. They're fermented and then distilled. You don't really need to know about that unless you're really into the weeds of that. But just know that distillation increases your alcohol content within these products. So if you're looking to get smash and trash, or you already do it on a regular basis, you're probably drinking from these this list of alcohols. If you're not looking at smash and trash, you're probably drinking from these lists of undistilled liquors. However, here are some tips, some takeaway tips. You want to know how you can not get dehydrated when drinking alcohol? Don't do it. Don't drink alcohol. That's not one tip. But hey, do as you will with the information. I'm not here to tell you what to do. But if you do continue to drink, the best way to stay hydrated or to keep your cells hydrated, drink water. Must drink water with your alcohol. So in between you drinking your shots, if you're drinking shots, drink some water, or take a shot of water, or have a bottle of water. That's why you see people used to walk around the club with water bottles. Because why? They were smart for the most part because they were trying to stay hydrated. And staying hydrated helps you from getting drunk faster. Not only does it help your cells to remain hydrated, but you won't get drunk as fast. So if you feel like you're the type of person that just you want to drink, you just can't keep up because you get drunk too fast, maybe you don't have food on your stomach. And second of all, you're not hydrated. You're not drinking water in between. Make sure you're hydrated before you start drinking, and make sure you're drinking water while you're actually drinking alcohol. And again, drink on a full stomach. Why? Because food slows the absorption of alcohol into your bloodstream. So while drinking alcohol, it can go straight to your bloodstream fairly quickly if you're on empty stomach. Now, if you have a full stomach, alcohol, the absorption can really, really slow down. It won't be as rapid. So if you're drinking, water, and eat on a full stomach. If you got to the point where you're already drunk and now you're trying to eat food or eat greasy foods that they would say to eat, you're past the point of actually doing it, actually having the liquor absorb your food. So like you're past that point. So that's why you want to make sure that you eat beforehand so that can slow the absorption of liquor down, right? But that is all I have for you guys today in chemistry class. So if there's any questions, we're going to get to that now. But yeah, I hope you guys like it. Next week, I can't remember or recall what I have for next week, but it's got something to do with health and chemistry. So let's see if we have any questions. Give me a second to get back to stop sharing this screen. Stop in the name of love. Before you break my heart, turn over. I know I can't sing. So I don't see any questions right here. So I would like to see your ass back in chemistry class next week. I don't know. Like, I see somebody is on here. Drop some gems. Like, let me know where you from. I see somebody watching. So, where you from? Okay. Well, anyways, not responsive. Thank you for having your ass in chemistry class. I am Professor Health. I am your friendly neighborhood healer, but not your average dope dealer. And today we just talked about some legal dope out here in the streets, sold on every corner in every black community all around the world in the United States. So that's alcohol. So alcohol awareness was today. Alcohol does dehydrate the body. That was a take-home message. And make sure that you are staying hydrated if you are drinking alcohol and you are actually drinking on a full stomach. Other than that, stay black. Peace.